Hi, everybody. It is Kathy, and I love to be selling. Come on in, sellers, and let me know how you are. Let me know that you can hear me, and let me know how your weather is today. It is very, very nice here in New York City. It's like spring today. It's fantastic. I was actually out with a scarf and a hat and everything, and as I'm walking, I'm like taking layers off because it was so warm and so nice. So what a nice, nice, nice treat. And I hope you're getting some nice weather too. But come on in. What I wanted to discuss is how to get negative feedback removed, because there will be times when you run into it. And it's very disconcerting, whether you're a newer seller or a more experienced seller. Anytime we get a negative, it's like, oh, it's not very pleasant. I particularly wanted to talk about negative feedback. It is certainly serious for any of us, but it is particularly serious to really, really watch any kind of negative feedback you might pick up for the newer sellers when you don't have that much feedback. I'm not saying it's okay when you have more feedback, but when you have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 feedback, and they're all fantastic and they're all very positive and they're all saying great things about you, and you get one, it's quite different from if you only have 6 or 7 and you pick up a negative. So let's get right to this and talk about it. Make sure everybody's doing good. It's Gail. How are you? Nice and sunny in Florida. I'm so glad. Hey, Carrie, joining me from Canada. I'm so, so glad. How are you? So we do that, and we got Margot. Oh, we got another one. We got Florida and Canada. So I'm up and down, all around. We got all the time zones going on. Hey, and we got Maine going on. Hey, Sally, how are you? Good to see you. So that's what we're talking about. Hey, we got Maryland, Indiana. Good. So the Midwest is coming in. Hi, how are you, everybody? So first of all is, and I'm only going to be dealing with 3 situations. And obviously there are a lot of different situations that we can find ourselves in as sellers. And if you are, particularly for my newer sellers, if you do get a negative, and please jump into one of my Facebook groups. For my newer sellers, I have eBay Selling Basics, Nothing But Selling Basics, and jump in and say, I just got this negative, I just had this situation happen, and get people to help you with it. Because one thing with the negative feedback, you want to get right on it. You don't want to let it sit for weeks and weeks and weeks till you get around. So the first thing you want to do if you get a negative feedback, it's breathe, because you get one and you're like, ah, just breathe. Read it. What are they talking about? Okay. Sometimes buyers forget that they can use the contact seller button to discuss things with you. For whatever reason, they don't. Okay. And they just leave a negative. Okay. Sometimes they are messaging you and then they leave a negative. That's another situation, and I'll get to it. But you get a negative out of the blue, no messaging, nothing, and you get a negative. Okay. First thing you want to do, and eBay advises this, and I'm going to be taking you to the eBay pages on this. Because anything I tell you, I always do my very best to check, and double check my information. I have access to what is called concierge customer service. Contact the buyer. Be professional, be friendly. I notice you left the feedback stating whatever about the item. I am so very sorry that you're unhappy. I want to take care of you. I want to make it better, however you want to phrase it. How can I make this work for you? How can I help you so that you are happy with your transaction? Because bottom line, we want them to be happy. Okay. I find it best to put the ball in their court and let them come back to me with what they want. Do they want me to pay for the return? Maybe it wasn't free returns. Do they want me to give them a partial refund? Maybe they just want to talk. Who knows? But open the door, apologize, be professional, and let them come back to you. Perhaps when it arrived, somehow, I'm trying to think, maybe it was like a button-down shirt when the buttons got loose. That could happen in transit, and they're upset about that. Okay, you know, that's something that's easily mendable. You just have to sew the button back on. Perhaps if I give them a couple dollars off, they're going to be happy with that. So they'll come back and say, you know, the button was off, but it's okay. I was just taken aback because I expected the button to be on. You know, if you give me back a couple of bucks, I'm going to be fine. Great. I go into PayPal. I do a partial refund. And then what you're going to do, and I'm going to show you the page. So hang on a second. Disputing feedback. Hang on a second. Okay, so let me just show you this because I want to make sure I'm pulling up the right page. So hang on, I'm going to show you my screen and let me just show you this. So you go to this. This is, so it's ebay.com /help/selling, leaving feedback, buyers, disputing. Basically just Google disputing feedback you've received. You'll land on this page. Okay. Again, first thing you're going to do is contact your buyer. You can reply to the buyer feedback. So if they feel that the feedback is justified, for whatever reason, you do have the ability to respond. You could say, I reached out to the buyer. I tried to make everything good. I was unable to do so. Whatever you want to say, just again, stay friendly, stay professional. Okay. Now let's say, like with the off the shirt, they're fine. I gave them a few dollars back. Once that's done, I can then request a feedback revision. So I've given them the couple of dollars off. Hang on a second, I'm going to come back to you guys. So I've given them the couple of dollars off, or however we've resolved the situation. And they are, and then I say to them, I say, okay, I've just given you the $3 off or $4 off or whatever. I've taken care of you. I'm going to be sending you a feedback revision. Let them know what you're doing. Don't just send it, because sometimes things go into spam blockers. You may not be on eBay all the time, and just say, I'm sending you a feedback revision. I would really appreciate it if you revise your feedback to positive. I've taken care of you. Okay. So that's situation number one. They've left a negative for whatever reason, communicate, or maybe they communicated, they didn't feel taken. You find a way to take care of them. Again, I find putting the ball in their court works best. You've done whatever they need done. Send them the feedback revision. They revise the feedback. Everything is fixed. Okay. Situation number two. You're in the global shipping program. Now, this is not that you're shipping international yourself. You are in the global shipping program. You have opted in. It's through site preferences. What that means is when you're shipping internationally, when you get an international sale, you pack it and you ship it to the shipping hub. It's a Pitney Bowes hub in Kentucky. And then from there, it's going to France, Germany, Australia, wherever it's going. This has happened to me a couple of times. It arrives in wherever, and it has broken, or it's taking forever to get there. I actually just had one where it was a very, very long shipping time for whatever reason. Okay. So situation number one, and so they could leave me negative feedback because it arrived broken, because they didn't know how to open up a case to get their money back. Okay. You immediately contact customer service and you let them know this item was shipped through global shipping, and they take care of you. Okay. The other thing is, for instance, it does take forever. You get a negative feedback. The feedback has to be totally clear. The negative must be about the shipping time. They mention nothing else about the product. Okay. All they say is it took forever to get here. Slowest shipping ever. Same thing with the negative for the broken item. Arrived damaged. The feedback must be specifically about it. It can't be love. I'm trying to think what. Wrong size and it arrived broken. It has, because then that's an item that is described mixed with it arrived broken. It has to be 100% to be immediately removed. Oftentimes then they will still remove it. They just have to manually review it. And let me show you this about the global shipping program. So hang on. So what you do is, again, Google global shipping program. It's the global shipping program. Benefits. And this is it. It's benefits. So you're going to scroll down. Benefits of global shipping. Any negative or neutral. Let me tell you, it's very hard to get rid of neutral feedback. Any negative or neutral feedback that can be attributed to the global shipping program from item handling during international transit will be removed. Okay? So then you just reach out to customer service and you let them know this item was from global shipping, show them the negative. They promise removal. It's got to be about the transit time. And again, if the item arrives broken, because as long as it arrives to the Pitney Bowes hub, you're fine. If for some reason it gets damaged from Pitney Bowes to the arrival, global shipping is liable. So that's number 2. Number 1 is request feedback revision. Take care of your customer, then request the feedback revision, and they do it. Number 2 is global shipping, and it must be specifically about transit time, and or it arrives damaged, and you can go in. The other thing is if it arrives damaged and you've gotten the negative, I mean, you can reach out to customer service. You can also reach out to the customer and say, oh, I'm so sorry. This was done through the eBay Global Shipping Program. If you click that it arrived damaged, eBay will step in and refund you. And then you can reach out to eBay and get the negative removed. But a lot of times buyers may not be aware of that. And then the third one, and this just happened to me, is the feedback has absolutely nothing to do with the item. I mean, nothing. I sold a beauty product, and I got the feedback 30 days later. It was sort of strange, but anyway. I mean, and sometimes again, because people aren't on eBay all the time, so you may get feedback that's 3 weeks old, 4 weeks old. But it was a beauty item. It came in a tube, and I got the feedback again. It was about a month later, and the feedback was plugged it in, and it didn't work. And I remember looking at it going, what did I sell with a plug? Like, was it a hairdryer? I do sell some electrical, not a lot. I mean, I've sold some travel hair dryers, the international voltage ones, when I come across them. But I hadn't remembered selling a small electric. I had sold a scanner recently. I'm at a couple different electrical things. So I looked at it. It was the cream. And I read the feedback, and I'm going, But it does happen. And if you shop on eBay, you know what I'm talking about, which is you can go to leave a feedback and you click the wrong thing for whatever reason. So that was an easy one. I just immediately reached out to customer service. I didn't even say anything. I said, I'm reaching out to you about having a negative removed. I said, just read this feedback, look at the item, and see what you think. And they just sort of chuckled and they said, no problem. And they removed it immediately. So conversation with your customer, take care of them, and then you can send them a feedback revision. Okay. Second one is it's clearly tied to the global shipping. They have spoken about the transit time, or for some reason the item arrives damaged. And again, it must be shipped through the global shipping program because you have those special insurances in the global shipping program. And the third one is that the feedback has absolutely nothing to do with the item. Something like referring to a non-electrical item not being able to be plugged in. Something that is so clear cut that they know. Okay, those can be removed so easily, and it keeps you at that 100%. Because you know this, that when shoppers come in, I do this because I shop on eBay quite a bit. I definitely look at my item. I definitely look at the price. You know, I'm looking at the pictures. I'm looking at the description. And the second thing I do is I click over and I look at the seller's feedback. I also look at what they say about the seller. So they'll say something like, you know, there was an issue with the item. Seller really took care of me. Packaged beautifully. So do take the time to look at your feedback at least once a week. I find is a good idea. If you get a negative, get right on it. Just to let you know, if you are in a situation where you are disputing feedback, or you're having to go back and forth with a buyer, or you're having customer service investigated, it must be submitted for revision within 90 days when it's left. I was working with a seller. I have private clients. And there was a feedback that could have been removed, but he didn't get it on it fast enough. It had happened about, I think it was like 4 or 5 months earlier in his transactions before I came on. And if we had gotten, if I had been with him from the beginning, we would have caught it and we would have had it removed. So keep on it. Check your feedback every week. I know some sellers that check it daily. Read it. Besides checking whether you're getting a negative, Read it. You know, are they happy with the way things are being shipped? Are they happy about the packaging? Are they, you know, what are they talking about? It tells you a lot about what's important to customers. Careful packaging. They love the thank you. They love the item. They love the fast shipping. You know, the words they use tell you a lot about what matters to them. And those are three, I give you three very clear-cut ways that should your negative feedback fall within the parameters, that you can get those removed. Okay, let me just check and see how everybody's doing. And then I actually have to scoot. I got to get some listings up. Hey, we got Chris coming in from Oregon. Every time I watch the audio, we suffer. No, Margot, the thing is, if you do have any kind of audio issue, and it can happen, God bless the internet when it works, sometimes it doesn't. Just click in and out or just wait for the replay, and then you'll be good. Hey, we got Marilyn in from Indiana. Hey, Marilyn, how are you? Good, 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 everybody. Everybody's doing great. Good, good, good. Just see how everybody is. Good. Glad you're all here. So that's three clear-cut ways. Big thing is communicate with your buyer. Always stay friendly and professional. It can be challenging. I know sometimes buyers are just very, very cranky, but always stay professional. It will serve you well, because if you're appealing something, eBay's going to go in and they're going to read all the comments. So they want to see that you were friendly and you were professional and you're really trying to help the buyer deal with the situation. Global shipping has those extra protections. When you're selling things valuable or fragile, it can be well worth using the global shipping program because of those protections. Should something happen, should you have an upset buyer for some reason, you do have extra protections, which are really, really worth it. And if you do just get a funny feedback that has nothing to do with your item, jump on it right away, because again, you must request a feedback revision within 90 days of the transaction. Okay, great. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Joanne. And thankfully for all of us, because you guys are all such great sellers. Hey, we got Peg in the Bronx, waving from Manhattan, Peg. It is extremely infrequent to get a negative. And so grateful for that, because most of us, you know, we are being so diligent on our listings and diligent on our shipping. And if for some reason you should all of a sudden get a string like 2 or 3 negatives in a row, which very rarely happens, but every now and then it might. I was just helping a seller that got several in a row. Is immediately look at what on earth is going on. Is it, are you out of stock? Are you having this tends to happen with the bigger sellers when they have inventory warehouses, you know, then you really got to get on top of your SKU system, because something's going on that you're chronically out of stock of items. All of a sudden there's a shipping lag, and people are unhappy. You know, what's up with your handling time? Can you talk to your shipping carrier? Is there some kind of bottleneck? So if all of a sudden you get a couple of negatives in a row, jump on it immediately. You don't want that trend to continue. Okay, and just continue to be the great sellers that you are. But please, 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 if you get a negative, jump on it immediately. The faster you get on it, the faster you resolve it, the more likely you are, like with the buyer, is to take care of them. They're fine. You whatever it is, you get them the feedback revision, and you get that negative removed. Okay, great. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. Bye-bye.